Good morning, all. It is November 21st, 2018. I'm Eric. Alright. I don't know if any of you know who God Rules is. It's a YouTube channel, and I stumbled across a video he'd done recently with regard to this article here, although he was on a different site. Same article, though. And I thought maybe, I should bring this to everyone's attention, at least anyone who will listen. Top U.S. officials confirmed to Putin that Trump is preparing for a military takeover of the United States. Okay, so a new Security Council report circulating in the Kremlin states that President Putin's brief meeting with U.S. Vice President Mike Pence and National Security Advisor John Bolton confirmed Russia's worst fears that President Trump is in preparation for having the American military take over control of the United States, as, according to these top U.S. officials. Now, I'd like to point out something. Why would that be Vladimir Putin's worst fears, or Russia's worst fear, that President Trump takes over the United States? It doesn't make any sense to me, but who knows? They go on to say that Trump's only oath of duty is to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, a document called the Soul of America, that is under withering attack by radical leftist forces trying to destroy Trump, and whose threat against became dire after the 2018 midterm selections. Now, so this person is obviously a Trump supporter. I'm not. I don't support any politician. None. But you would think that if he was really there to preserve or defend or protect the Constitution, we'd start seeing many of these laws rolled back to when the Constitution was created. So, maybe that'll happen, but I doubt it. They say, note, some words and or phrases appearing in quotes in this report are English language approximations of Russian words, phrases having no exact counterpart. Look at old Mike Pence. Doesn't he look like a fucking dickhead? Russian President Vladimir Putin receives confirmation on November 15th, 2018 from National Security Advisor John Bolton and U.S. Vice President Mike Pence that President Donald Trump is preparing for military takeover of the United States. According to this report, in meeting earlier today with Vice President Pence and National Security Advisor Bolton before the East Asia Summit, a gravely concerned President Putin inquired of these top U.S. officials as to why the United States was repatriating massive amounts of military equipment and arms from Europe. So they're bringing home a lot of equipment from Europe, and you gotta wonder why. And if this unexplained action was related to President Trump mysteriously withdrawing from the world over this past week. In stunned silence, this report continues, these two top officials confided to President Putin that President Trump is now solely focused on upholding his oath to protect the U.S. Constitution. And though their exact words remain more highly classified than this general report allows to be openly written about, a clue to what they revealed slipped through deliberately, we think, by this report, noting that Vice President Pence said the words to Putin, "Donnie knows what's happening too." And Donnie is a friend of Donald Trump's. I don't remember his last name, but he is a CEO of some company. Though virtually unnoticed by the masses of the American people, this report details during the week prior to the 2018 midterm elections, an unheard event took place when active duty U.S. Army Reserve military forces teamed up with the Arlington Heights, Illinois Police Department outside Chicago to conduct urban war exercise, a violation of Posse Comitatus that forbids U.S. military forces from conducting civilian police operations within the United States. Well, training with a police department does not necessarily mean they are doing civilian law enforcement operations. You see, I kind of have mixed emotions about the military doing things here on our soil. The first one is, you know, they should be able to defend our entire country, including the urban areas, and if they need to do that, then certainly they need to train where where they're going to be defending, right? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to train for, say, Chicago in Afghanistan. Okay. The only mainstream media talking head to have noticed this war training exercise, this report notes, was a frequent guest on the rabidly anti-Trump MSNBC news program Morning Joe, named Donnie Deutsch, or Deutsch, I'm not really sure. A Jewish-American multi-millionaire, former advertising executive who was shouted down by Morning Joe host Joe Scarborough for his supporting Israel, and once became close to fighting Scarborough on air. And of course, you know how I feel about Jews, especially Zionists. Most critical to know about Donnie Deutsch, however, this report details, is that he is one of President Trump's longest-known friends, with his even appearing on Trump's reality series, The Apprentice, for 3 seasons, is frequently seen in the company of Trump, or Trump's former wife, Marla Maples, the mother of Trump's daughter, Tiffany, and who yesterday declared on national television that Trump would call in the military to keep power, stating, "We have to look at this man. He really would do that. He would say, no, 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 I'm still here." He would turn to 50 million Americans and say, "I'm still your president, and this is my new government." To which triumphantly responded to by cryptically tweeting, quote, "These people, like the Antifa, they better hope that this opposition to Antifa decides not to mobilize, because if they do, they're much tougher, much stronger, potentially much more violent, and Antifa is going to be in big trouble. See, he is trying to get some shit started just in that tweet right there. He is encouraging 50 million Americans to engage in violence, in my opinion, which don't mean a whole lot. I mean, I only have, what, 485 or 89 subscribers, so as you can see, I'm wrong, and my opinion means dick. Meanwhile, CNN defends Antifa as seeking peace through violence. That is a very Orwellian phrase, isn't it? So, I don't know if this article is correct. I don't know if Vladimir Putin actually got that message from Pence, or that reply, and if he did, I would say that more than just people on the left are in trouble. Okay, they say that words alone do not make the case for President Trump preparing for a U.S. military takeover of America. This report continues. His actions most certainly do, such as his preparing to shake up the entire command structure of his top generals, such as his ouster from power U.S. Army General Joseph Votel, who command American military forces in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria. Russia has slammed for his discrediting Trump and not obeying orders, and whom Trump doesn't speak to anymore. The reason Trump is eviscerating his top military leadership command, this report explains, can be found in two just published reports. One from the Watson Institute for International and Public Affairs at Brown University, titled United States Budgetary Costs of the Post-9/11 Wars Through FY Fiscal Year 2019. 5.9 trillion spent and obligated. And the other from the National Defense Strategy Commission, a group of 12 former Republican, Democrat, and national security officials, written for the U.S. Congress, titled Providing for a Common Defense, the Assessments and Recommendations of the National Defense Strategy Commission. That was a mouthful. They claim that combined, this report points out these shocking official U.S. national security documents show that the United States has spent or is obligated to spend $5.9 trillion from wars or for wars in Afghanistan, Iraq, and elsewhere since 2001, but whose only benefit for is failed states in all of the countries the U.S. has invaded, that have left over 480,000 people killed as a direct result of these wars in which the U.S. has been involved, along with more than 10 million civilians who have been displaced in their home countries or become refugees abroad. Now, I would argue that this number is much higher than 480,000. Recall 500,000 children, and I know this didn't happen on Trump's watch, but recall anyway Madeleine Albright, saying 500,000 children were worth the price. So certainly between 2001 and now, more than 480,000 people have been killed. See, they kind of give sort of a mixed number here. What is the 480,000, and what do they mean by 10 million? Are those 10 million people displaced, or are they're not real clear on this? So I would say that 480,000 people is a very modest estimate of the people killed. So and they became refugees abroad. So the 10 million is really about being displaced and refugees. And with the USA Today conducting counterterrorism operations in 76 countries around the world, now has these experts warning that the U.S. could potentially lose a war against Russia and China, or China. A dangerous situation not expected to get any better, as the U.S. Army has just reported it has failed to meet its recruitment goals. So this article is rather long, as you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and end it there with this article. And I suppose I'll leave a link in the description box in case any of you want to check it out. Well, tell me what you think. Do you think there's a iota of truth in what they're saying here? Do you think perhaps Donald Trump is repatriating the military equipment to the United States for it to be used here? And will the United Nations end up helping him? I guess we'll find out the hard way, won't we? Anyway, this one's going a little long. Thought I would share this with you. I really hope everyone has a great day and a good Thanksgiving as well. I know I'm going to eat like a fucking pig. Till next time, kill the state, live free.